Let's start with RCB. Vishak, as you're wearing the jersey, why don't we start with you? Virat Kohli, Glenn Maxwell, and Mohammed Siraj. Any
Virat,
surprises here?
Virat Kohli and Glenn Maxwell were no-brainers. Once AB de Villiers decided to retire, it was no-brainer that Glenn Maxwell will be retained as the second choice. And Virat Kohli, we all know, he's been the brand of the franchise, so there was no surprise over there. I would have picked Harshal Patel over Siraj because of the because he has been the highest wicket taker now. He has even performed for India recently. If you see, Siraj has not been playing much of T20 cricket other than the IPL. He's more into the more of a red ball bowler now. So I would have picked Harshal Patel, and I was a little surprised by the omission of Yuzvendra Chahal.
Hmm.
So that was one big surprise. He has been the highest wicket taker for RCB so far, and that was one notable omission for me.
Okay. And Kohli no longer the captain, Akash. So, what is the strategy for RCB here?
I think it's pretty simple. Right from the moment Kohli decided to drop captaincy from his leadership skills, basically. So it was very very clear for RCB that going forward they will be looking for a captain in the auction. They made it very clear 3-4 months back itself when Kohli decided to quit captaincy. The point in retention here is obviously he's the best. He's the best in the world at the moment. So there's no question of getting him in from the auction. So that's the point of having him as the first retention. Glenn Maxwell straightforward, as Vishak mentioned. Once you don't have ABD, it's obviously second choice Glenn Maxwell. Mohammed Siraj, I think they've gone with the fact that he's a youngster and he can open the bowling and also finish the at the depth as well. I think that is the reason he picked Harshal. And Harshal has just performed in one season, whereas Siraj has been there with the franchise for quite a few years now. I think one miss which I would see here is probably a DDP or a UZ. I'm not sure why they were not picked. If the reason is that the player wanted to get into the auction to get more money, then I'll be a little bit disappointed because there is something called as a loyalty factor. And usually, he's been in the franchise for a lot of years now, and we would have expected him to stay at least for that loyalty factor. Apart from that, I don't think there are any surprises out here. But before all of this, I think one crucial thing which I would like to mention is that four retentions, according to me, is not ideal going into a mega auction. Two retentions would have been ideal. One Indian player maybe, and one overseas player maybe. In that way, you retain the brand for the franchise as well, and also level the playing field for all the 10 teams. In this case, now already 27 top players are out. Only guys like Rashid and Rahul are in the auction, which again will be picked up by the new franchises. So don't see much of a point in the mega auction. It'll just be a reshuffle of the second bunch of players, I feel. So let's see
Interesting.
how it goes.
Interesting. And Adi, what are your thoughts on who will RCB go after? An overseas captain or an Indian captain? Any names in mind?
Yeah, it's going to be tough because I think for the next 3 weeks, it's out of RCB's hands or any of the original 8 franchisees' hands because the two new franchisees will pick 3 players each, and in that you have two Indians max and one foreigner max. So you could see David Warner, Rahul, Rashid, Stokes, or Archer, or you have all these other Indian players: Hardik Pandya, Shreyas Iyer, Shubman Gill. All these captaincy material or future captaincy material folks, a lot of them will be removed. So what will happen is who will be remaining in the auction and the teams who are looking for a captain. So think RCB, think Punjab Kings, and I would still say KKR. KKR in all of those four, I don't see like a captain. Like there's no Ian Morgan or there's no Shubman Gill. I don't know Venkatesh Iyer or Varun Chakravarti. I don't think they will be captain, right? So there'll be like 3 teams who will be fighting out for captain. So they will overpay for someone. So will it be Shreyas Iyer? Will it be Shubman Gill? Will it be KL Rahul? Or will it be Morgan? Or will it be like an international captain who is out there? Warner? You don't know. Like that dynamic, now they're leaving it to fate, right? Now it's depending on who 6 are taken away by the new franchisees. Then 1 or 2 good captaincy people will be remaining and they will make a lot of money. Right, like imagine if only Shreyas Iyer and Shubman Gill are remaining. 3 teams are fighting for 2 Indian batting stars. They can go for 15, 17 crores, right? So that is how I see it. It's a dangerous game they've played. I wouldn't have what I would have done is for RCB, I would have retained Devdutt or Yuzi as number 2. Maxwell is good, but he could have been number 3 or 4 as well. Like that's my take on it, right? Like you Harshal Patel, I agree, he's like performed one season. UZ is like more, how do I put it, dependable. He has been there for 4 5 seasons, so he's performed really well, right? Harshal just got into Indian team. UZ was from 2017 onwards mainstay in Indian spin bowling, right? So UZ or Devdutt, I would have retained. Leave Siraj, and maybe Maxwell would have been my third or fourth choice. Like prioritize Indian players because they will go for a lot of money in the auction. Trust me, because we've seen like people like Manish Pandey who didn't perform that great for KKR. KKR let him go, but all teams were looking for Indian players, and SRH had to pay him 10 crores, right? So, and he was making more than Kane Williamson and others as well, like previous season. So yeah, so it'll be a fun auction, but we'll have to recoup after what the 2 franchisees take the 6 players, and then we can see what each team needs.
Interesting times.